Freeze Frame is a 1979 Warner Brothers Merry Melodies cartoon that actually aired as part of Bugs Bunny's Looney Christmas Tales, which is a series of three Christmas themed animations all centered around Bugs Bunny. This narrative doesn't actually feature Bugs Bunny for the one very obvious reason that it's a story of Wile E. Coyote and the Roadrunner. It's written and directed by Chuck Jones, and to be honest, as part of Bugs Bunny's Looney Christmas Tales, I don't feel like it fit in as well as the other stories. It has a slight Christmas angle insofar as it's about snow, which I will discuss in a moment, but it didn't really fit in with the others, but I can understand them trying to get as many Warner Brothers cartoons into that anthology as possible. So I understand the reasoning, but it was a bit of a weak link as part of that. But watching it on its own, it's absolutely fine, and it's actually quite refreshing compared to other Wile E. Coyote versus the Roadrunner cartoons, because this one does feature snow. Obviously, Wile E. Coyote is chasing the Roadrunner. Well, I say chasing. He doesn't really chase the Roadrunner, but he tries as hard as he can to stop the Roadrunner, obviously frequently failing. But this one, Wile E. Coyote has a new antagonist in his life, and that is snow. He has a frozen desert to contend with, and snow keeps getting in his way. And I thought it worked quite well because it was very different to the other similar cartoons with Wile E. Coyote. It does have a different feel to it. So on its own, I thought it was quite interesting. It definitely was quite refreshing compared to other Wile E. Coyote cartoons. But as part of the anthology, Bugs Bunny's Looney Christmas Tales, it definitely did not work as well as the others. But in isolation, Freeze Frame is pretty good fun. It's certainly different. I was curious to see how they would utilize these frosty conditions and whether or not the Roadrunner would be affected by this, or if it's only Wile E. Coyote. Obviously, I'm not going to say what happens, but I enjoyed it. It was refreshing. It was a nice change of pace. As part of the anthology series, definitely a weak link. I do recommend the anthology, and I thoroughly advise that you watch it if you're a fan of Warner Brothers and haven't seen it. But I think Freeze Frame is one that's worth watching after the fact as well, on its own, in isolation, so you can view it not just as part of that, but as an animation in its own right, because on its own, it's definitely not bad at all. One that I would recommend.